Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, and hello to all you folks in Memphis that listen to us on ESPN AM 790 and 92.9 HD-FM. Brownsville, Tennessee on 1520 AM and 95.3 FM. Of course, in Jackson, Tennessee, News Talk 101.5. And, of course, this being the second Saturday, this is regular Saturday. Ron Wong is not in studio with me during the quarantine rules, but Ron is on the line. Good morning again, Ron.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Larry.
You like to talk fishing.
Let's put a jacket on and let's go fishing.
Yeah, well, it's 43 degrees here in Memphis on Saturday morning, which is crazy.
Yes, it is.
It is very crazy, and I know this next guy that's coming up with us, I told you he was going to Canada. If anybody knows cold temperatures, this guy does, because at the end of April, he and his wife Shelby were ice fishing. You got to watch the video on this to see it. Jeff Gustafson, how you doing, Jeff?
I'm good, guys. How are you? Thanks for having me.
We're great to have you. Thanks for our good friend Emily Harley of BASS said you need to talk to Jeff because he was ice fishing in end of April. And the man lives in Canada off Lake of the Woods and also in Ontario. So if I was asked what's the closest town somebody might know where you live, what would you say?
Winnipeg, Manitoba is the closest city. It's 2 hours west of us, but if you know where Minneapolis is, we're 7 hours straight north of Minneapolis.
Okay.
So sort of dead center of the continent.
All right. So are you in Manitoba? Are you in where?
I'm like 30 miles from the Manitoba border in Ontario.
That's okay. Okay, everybody can figure that out on a Saturday morning. We want to talk to the man they call Gussie. And I know that because you're one of the few Canadians on the circuit. I know you love fishing. You had your first classic experience, right?
We did that back in March. And lucky we got sort of squeezed that in before we got hit.
Let's talk about that. Ron wants to hear before we talk the technicalities about ice fishing and things along that line. But I want to ask you about time away from the circuit. So what are you doing to stay sharp and waiting for things to happen?
Well, so right after the Classic, I had planned to stay down there for a week. We had a week or so off, then we were supposed to fish at Chickamauga.
Yes, you were.
My wife and I actually went over to South Carolina for a couple days, and then we just we got canceled for Chickamauga, and then it was like, okay, time to go home, I guess, and we hit the road home. So we got in a good solid 5 or 6 weeks of ice fishing, and now the ice is out, so I've been out in the boat now a couple times, and I'll catch up to everyone real fast because the fishing's phenomenal here right now. Water's still really cold, but these smallmouths up here don't really eat much all winter, so when the ice goes out, they're just like piranhas, and you can catch a bunch of them. But I've been outdoors a bunch and fishing a bunch.
Well, I saw the last the ice fishing episode. Now that's on my bucket list. Probably not on Ron's, but it's been on mine for a long time. I don't know if I'll ever make it, but folks, if you go back and you look and Google Jeff and see the ice fishing that he did with the auger and drill the hole and everything else, and Ronnie was pulling out these smallmouth. He was trying to get walleye. They were eating supper that night, and they're out there on this ice. They've ridden their four-wheeler out there. It's just explain that experience to those of us down here in the South.
So, our lakes up here freeze for pretty much 6 months of the year.
6 months of the year.
Wow. If you love to fish, then you got to fish on hard water. And
hard water. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
a good way to
put in the winter. You can drive your truck all over the lake. It's hard to believe, I guess, but
well, it is for us down here because you're on your four-wheeler, and I don't know what the temperature was that day. I think you said in the 40s or something.
Yeah.
But normally you are you a cabin man out there, or are you fishing and gone? Or talk.
Well, I get to go enough where if it's really miserable, windy, really cold, I can pass on those days. But we do have portable shelters or even, they're coming a long ways now, like trailers that people can bring out and sleep in, cook dinner, watch TV, all the bells and whistles. But generally, I like to fish outside, so I'll just, often just pick the nicer days to go.
And now I got to tell you, and Ron is listening to this now, you must have a wonderful wife. Shelby was holding those fish up for you. She's catching fish. She's out there with you. She's not at home saying, well, you come on back when you get back.
Go catch dinner and
catch dinner and come back. So there's got to be a story in this. How did she know what kind of life she was going to get into when she married you?
No, she didn't. I don't know that she'd actually ever ice fished before. And so we met a few years ago, and actually, I think ice fishing was one of the first activities that we ever did together.
Oh my goodness! You didn't go and you hunt? You didn't go? No, I wouldn't even ask you that. Ice fishing honeymoon. That's what I would vision.
No, I wouldn't try to pull that. But no, she likes to go, and that's part of it. Try and pick the nice days, and then it's a lot more fun for everyone. And then the thing up here, we actually catch fish when we go. It's not like you go drill a hole, sit on a bucket.
You catch fish,
Hopefully you get a bite. I mean, the fish set up on structure, and you use same mapping and cover water and find them that you do in open water. And if you find them, you can get on top of them and catch a bunch.
Well, that sounds like what you want to do when you're in one of the big tournaments. The way I understand it, 12 tournaments. Ron, get this: 12 times in the money. 12 tournaments, 12 times in the money. Of course, one of his hobbies is hockey. I mean, you got to be, that's required. But Ron, you know a lot about Gussie, as his friends call him, and we can call him that. But the style of fishing, I know a lot of Canadian pro golfers, they have to adjust. So talk about where you come from and where you are now. I mean, is this a dream?
Yeah, for sure. I was lucky to, just grow up fishing at a really young age, and it's sort of been what I've really liked to do, all through growing up and stuff. So I've fished a lot, and then we have some really good tournaments here in the summer, so I got caught the bug for that, and then at some point I just I got a little bit of help and was able to I fished the FLW tour for several years.
Yes, you did.
And then,
right
now fishing the Elite Series is dream come true for me. Absolutely. I'm enjoying every minute of it and having a lot of fun.
Gussie, the pinnacle of bass fishing, competition bass fishing, I think for anybody, is to make the Bassmaster Classic. And you did it in your first year of competition on the BASS Elite side. How did it feel to go to that classic with that crowd that was there in Birmingham?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to put it into words, really. My whole family was able to come out too, so that was special. And
right.
But yeah, no, I've been doing this long enough, and that I know it's hard to do, and it's I sort of said it once I qualified that's the biggest accomplishment of my fishing activities. It was a great experience.
And then all of a sudden, bingo, you're back to ice fishing and taking the wife to dinner. So I mean, talk about the adjustment there, because here you're at the pinnacle, as Ron said, and you're fired up and everything up, and then I mean,
it's back home, and I mean it's pretty remote where we live and beautiful in the summer, and that's the big
How remote? What's remote to you?
Well, we have a town of like 12,000.
Okay.
We live on the outside of town, and then it's like an hour in any direction, kind of to the next community. So,
well, did they know that you were in the Classic?
Oh yeah,
it was.
Oh
yeah, they knew that you were in the big time. So what's 2020? Hey, do you know what's going to happen in 2020? We'd like to know here. So.
Well, We actually, I think Bassmaster's putting out. They're putting out some information.
Yes, they are.
If they haven't already, in the next day or two.
Yeah.
And it sounds like we're gonna get back at it here in June. So hopefully everything works out. And I know all the anglers are itching to get going again. And the tournaments are probably going to be run a little bit differently, just to keep the social distancing aspect. There, but the main thing will be us being able to fish, and
that's what you want. Yeah.
And something for people to follow along.
And I know, Ron, you always ask him. You said to people, Gussie, a little bit earlier about people have helped you. Ron always asks us. You're not going to ask him, Ron, about his sponsors, or do I have to ask him?
Well, he has some wonderful sponsors. What's a little bit unique with one of the sponsors that Gussie has is his boat.
Is his boat, yeah.
He runs a Lund boat.
Yes, he does.
In a lot of our lakes, that's really a great rough water boat that people don't understand. And Gussie, tell our listeners about to me, a tricked out Lund boat.
Yeah.
And why does it serve you as well as it does?
Yeah. So I run a 2075 Lund Pro V bass, and it's a big fishing machine.
It's
great in rough water.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I hear, the most from co-anglers and some of the marshals that ride in everybody's boats. They're just like, wow, is that ever a nice ride?
I mean, you could put. I looked at it, and I don't know how much you can put in there. You probably got more rods and reels than Ron Wong. I mean,
you can load it up. There's no limit for storage, and no, it's incredible. It's a nice, and where I live is Lund country, so
yes,
it's been worked out to be a really good thing, and I'm proud to run that boat for sure.
Well. And one of your other sponsors is with a good friend of mine, and a friend of yours, I'm sure, Glenn Young with Z-Man.
Yeah.
Z-Man.
What a wonderful bait. Most people don't understand how great that bait is and how long it will last.
Yeah.
How many fish you can catch on one. And you're up there, you're probably catching walleye with it too, but
like
Z-Man is amazing
anymore. When I go walleye fishing, it's just use a Ned rig pretty much. But the Z-Man stuff, they started helping me out a lot last year, and it's been awesome. Just because it's, they have a bunch of baits that I actually use a lot, and so when you're able to have that kind of thing, you can give a really honest testimonial of the baits and how they work and how many fish you can catch on them. And,
it's amazing here, and we're running out of time. Jeff, and I know, believe it or not, you got fans down here in Memphis that follow you. That boat really helps you. A lot of folks. I mean, you kind of stick out in a crowd, but we appreciate you taking time to be on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We've got your number. We'll stay in touch, buddy, and
I'll see you down the road at one of the elites.
You look for Ron Wong. There's only one, even though there's 18,000 millions out there. There's only one Ron. Thank you, Jeff, buddy, and have a great day. And we'll talk to you down the road. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Good to talk to you. All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and we're going to Miki Sota next to talk about a camera that I got to get. Rod's got to have one of these. We'll be right back.